Tonight is a community service of the New York Institute of Technology.
Covering the news of Nassau and Suffolk County's Long Island News Tonight with Ken Eckhart, Carol Peck, and the award-winning LI News team.
Good evening. I'm Ken Eckhart, and here's what's happening. Some Nassau County lawmakers are up in arms over letters they say were sent to county youth organizations announcing reductions in funding. It's all part of the county's efforts to reduce spending to deal with an expected $176 million budget gap. But as Jody Goldberg reports, the lawmakers say the cuts will just wind up hurting young people.
Democratic legislators say they're outraged over Nassau County Executive Edward Mangano's cuts to youth programs. Lawmakers say Mangano mailed a letter to youth board agencies outlining specific cuts that would be made to their programs within 48 hours. But now the county executive is saying those cuts haven't been finalized, which have Democrats asking what's going on.
You don't send certified letters to youth board agencies indicating that they will be cut on April 1st, signed by the youth board executive director, if they're not going to be cut.
Democrats are calling the letters politically motivated, saying they target legislative districts represented by Democrats. And members of the Youth Council program say they're distraught over the possibility of drastic cuts.
Our children, they don't vote Republican and Democrat. They're trying to build their dreams and their hopes.
And Abraham says if Mangano decides to go through with this, it is the children that will be affected the most.
These programs give young people an outlet, somewhere they can go after school, as well as someone they could talk to if they're going through a difficult time.
Being a student, I've always heard people say that youth are the future, yet it is those same people that are trying to take away from our future.
Lawmakers say the proposed cuts to youth programs may violate the county red light camera law because they say the law stipulates all revenue must go to social service agencies, including the youth boards.
The revenue is there. $29 million has been budgeted out of the red light camera fund to provide the contract agencies with the support that they need.
Meanwhile, Mangano says any cuts won't be finalized until April 16th. And his spokesperson says the county executive is working with the state legislators now to get approval for an additional 50 red light cameras to help restore funding to youth board contracts. In Mineola, Jody Goldberg, LI News Tonight.
Investigators have expanded their search of the remote, densely overgrown stretch of South Shore Beach as they hunt for more victims of a possible serial killer. 8 bodies have been found in the last few months on the north side of Ocean Parkway. And this afternoon, searchers moved to the south side of the road. The bodies of 4 missing prostitutes were found in December. While investigators were searching for a missing woman, a 5th body was found last week, and the remains of 3 more were found yesterday. The top Democrat in the Nassau County Legislature says she won't be seeking re-election. According to Newsday, Glen Cove legislator Diane Yatoro says she will not run for another term in November, but will remain head of the Democratic majority until her term ends in December. Yatoro cites a desire to spend more time with family as a prime motivation for her decision. She was first elected Nassau County legislator in 2003, then became the presiding officer in 2008, when the Democrats still held a majority. She was elected minority leader last year when the Republicans took back control of the legislature. A Long Island mother has been charged with driving drunk and hitting another car, then fleeing the scene with her 5-year-old son in the car with her. Suffolk County police say 39-year-old Jessica Lazarus of Centerport was driving on Center Shore Road yesterday afternoon when she hit another car, and that car then hit a 3rd car. Police say Lazarus then fled the scene. The drivers of the other vehicles were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Lazarus' 5-year-old boy was not harmed and was turned over to a family member. Lazarus was arrested at her home on charges including DWI, leaving the scene of an accident with injury, and driving intoxicated with a child less than 16 years old. which is now a felony under Leandra's law. April is National Autism Awareness Month, and a Long Island group called Life's Work has started a new program to teach emergency workers what they should be aware of when responding to homes of people with autism. Tonight on NYIT Roundtable, host Dana Arshan will be talking with Life's Work about why this training program is so important.
Okay, so for instance, say a fire happens or something that happens so that the firefighters have to go to a home. Many times people who have autism have elopements, which means that they run out into the community without supervision. So sometimes their caregivers, their parents, whoever is in the house, will have to actually lock windows, use certain plexiglass non-breakable windows and certain fences that will not allow people to just eventually come into. So if there's a fire and these things are in place and there are no warning signs that they're in place, then a firefighter might have difficulty getting into the house.
But Goldman says this new program could help resolve some of those problems.
First Responders is a program that it helps address and allow people who come to a scene, crisis situation, usually those are firefighters as well as EMS and police officers. And what it does is it addresses the signs and symptoms for people who have autism, as well as recognizing the best behavioral strategies and social strategies so that the person that is in crisis could be safe, as well as everyone else around in the situation.
Right now, the Seaford Fire Department is the only group taking part in the program, but Goldman says they'd like first responders across Long Island to take advantage of this special training. To learn more about it, stay with us for NYIT Roundtable, immediately following the news on some of our stations. A federal judge has ruled that a housing bias lawsuit against a Long Island village can go to trial. The suit accuses Farmingdale officials of trying to force Latinos out of the village's Little Latin America neighborhood. The suit was filed by 9 Latinos over a 54-unit apartment building. It used to house some 150 Latino residents in the predominantly white village. It was sold in 2006 and then turned into luxury apartments. Their attorney claims the village helped oust the Latino tenants by not forcing the former owner to make needed repairs. But the village lawyer says Farmingdale has never taken steps to limit the right of anyone to live there. Well, it was a mixed day on Wall Street today. The Dow finished the day down just over 6 points. NASDAQ was up 2 points, and the S&P was down just a fraction. NYIT's LI News Tonight continues after this.
See a screening of the film To Live at New York Institute of Technology's D. Seversky Center in Old Westbury on Wednesday, April 13th at 5:30 p.m. For more information, call 516-686-7567. Take the kids to Orient Beach State Park's 22nd annual Egg Hunt in Orient on Saturday, April 16th at 11 a.m. For more information, log on to www.nysparks.com. Learn about the history of the Setauket Village Green on a 3-Village Historical Society walking tour on Saturday, April 16th at 10:30 a.m. For more information, call 631-751-3730 or celebrate Asia's rich heritage at the 5th Annual Asian American Cultural Festival in Roosevelt Hall at Farmingdale State College on Saturday, April 16th from noon till 9:30 p.m. For more information, call 631-754-6640. If you have an event you'd like included on the LI News Tonight community calendar, send it to linewstonight@nyit.edu.
Press play to start your future. Learn the industry. Use the technology. Become an expert in television reporting, journalism, radio, digital film, public relations and advertising, television production, digital graphics, a beautiful state-of-the-art campus. A road to the job you've always wanted. In the media capital of the world. Communication Arts at NYIT. When can you start?
In world headlines today, international forces are helping Libyan rebels battle against Muammar Gaddafi's forces. Rebels say an airstrike hit a convoy of Libyan military vehicles moving toward rebel lines near Brega today. Meanwhile, a Gaddafi spokesman says the Libyan leader won't step down, but he's willing to discuss changes in how Libya is governed. His comments came after rebels rejected the idea that one of Gaddafi's sons would take over from his father and steer the country toward a constitutional democracy. The spokesman says Libya could see changes in its constitution, elections, anything, but that Gaddafi should lead the changes. Dangerous amounts of radiation continue to pour into the ocean from the damaged nuclear power plant in Japan. And now, for the first time, Japan is setting a standard for the amount of radiation allowed in fish. The decision today comes after radiation more than 7.5 million times the legal limit for seawater was found just off the tsunami-damaged nuclear plant. The government says it will apply the maximum allowable radiation limit for vegetables to fish. The move comes after the health ministry reported that fish caught about halfway between the plant and Tokyo contained levels of radioactive iodine that exceeded the new legal limit. And Italian researchers have announced a plan to dig up bones in a Florence convent in hopes of identifying the remains of a Renaissance woman, long believed to be the model for the Mona Lisa. The researchers say they hope that the project will help answer some of the enduring mysteries surrounding Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece, including whether the woman, Lisa Gherardini, was the model. She was the wife of a rich silk merchant. The project was launched today, and excavations are scheduled to begin by the end of the month. A Queens man has been arrested, charged with robbing a bank in Valley Stream. Police say yesterday morning, a man went into the Chase Bank at the Green Acres Mall, handed a demand note to a teller, and displayed a handgun under his jacket. After being given the money, he then fled. A short time later, 39-year-old James Ippolito of Rosedale was apprehended by Nassau County Police. Officials say the proceeds from the robbery were recovered along with a pellet gun. According to authorities, there were 17 employees in the bank at the time of the robbery, along with 3 customers, but no injuries were reported. When a subway train puts on the brakes, the resistance creates energy. So the Philadelphia subway system is trying to save some money by storing up that energy to use later. For years, subway cars have been able to recycle some of the energy created when they brake, but much of the energy is wasted by the time the train stops braking. Well, now several transit agencies are experimenting with ways to store the power in batteries for later use. The Philadelphia subway system says it thinks it could ultimately save up to 10% on power costs. Well, we had a cloudy mix of rain and wind today. The high was in the upper 50s. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low in the upper 30s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high up near 60. Thursday, showers expected, high in the low 50s. Friday, showers, high around 50. And the outlook for Saturday, showers with a high in the low 50s. And that's it for NYIT's LI News Tonight. I'm Ken Eckhart. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.